Alright, today we're going to be looking at PLA spikes or PLA rivets, and we're going to use them to incorporate within a design. Here is PLA. This is 3mm PLA. You can get a whole handful of this for about $18 in various locations online. It is a plastic derivative made from corn. Cool, so it's biodegradable. Okay, versus the M3. Now in America the M3 is, one of those things that you don't want to use too often because they're really hard to come by. You can get them at Ace Hardware or McMaster's Cars, where I get mine. I get like 100 at a time and just have them delivered. But let's just say that over time, they add up. Also, hardware. Come on, we're into plastic, right? Well, today we're going to be looking at using the PLA as a way of mounting two things together. I'll show you what I do. So first off, cut yourself a piece of PLA that's roughly about 6 inches. Don't get it too long. And have yourself a mirror. So this is an 8-inch mirror. And if you want a longer piece of PLA, just get a bigger mirror. Also, I have this blowtorch, and the height of the blowtorch to the height of the mirror is roughly about 6 to 8 inches. Okay, now let's start this blowtorch. Always use safety when you're using fire. I don't smoke, so I have these matches. Cool. Now the PLA is curved. See, we need it very straight. So what I do is take a pair of needle nose pliers, hold the piece of PLA at the very tip, and then kind of wave it back and forth in front of the flame. Don't get it inside the flame. Don't get it too hot. It's going to turn into like a spaghetti noodle. You can see it straightening out right there. Now you can use also your heating bed on your 3D printer for this. I'm just showing you the way of doing it. Let's say if you don't have a 3D printer, but then you wouldn't be designing things out of plastic, so well, anyway, there's various ways to heat it up. This is just one of them. Okay, perfect. A little bit more on that end, and then we're good. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it on the mirror, and I'm going to rock it back and forth. The mirror is already at room temp, so it shocks the plastic back into a very straight formation. Just like that. Perfect. Nice and straight and nice and hard. Alright, so I need a rivet, and what I do here is I go like this, a couple seconds in the flame, and then press it down on the mirror. And if you don't get it right away, just make sure you get it nice and warm. There we go. Wait a couple seconds and then pull it off. And sometimes you're gonna have to kind of peel it off. So hold on, let me do that one more time. Perfect. Now this one takes a couple seconds to actually do. This can be done via a soldering iron too, and it takes 2 seconds. This one takes a little longer. And what I do is I take an X-Acto knife, go like that, and now I have a nice little rivet. Cool, cool. I only need a small rivet, so what I do here is I cut this off to about right there. One piece always goes flying that you'll never find again, and here is my base. Okay, well, I could take this little piece of spike and put it through there just like that, and then Let's say I have a piece of plastic that I want to mount to the first piece. Go like that. Cool. Now there's a couple variation ways of doing this, but what's cool is it's got little plastic feet now. Yeah. I like this method myself. I take a soldering iron and I just go like this. Now PLA, when it burns, it leaves off a smoke. Smoke's not really good for you, but it's not really deadly to you like ABS plastic. So you're good to go. Now you have a design that's put together with PLA spikes, saving yourself all kinds of M3 screws. How do you take them off if you made a mistake? Just get yourself a pair of nippers, and yep, you just like that, and it comes right off. Pretty cool, right? So that's using PLA as a spike or a rivet. Now, if you're using it as a spike, what I usually do is just, heat the end, make a rivet, and then take one end of these, cut it at an angle, and you got a nice little sharp edge that you can force into areas where a spike might be useful. Spikes are useful for hinges and things like that. Take, for instance, I have this design. There's a breadboard, and I could pull this little spike out like that, and I can now take the breadboard off the piece of plastic. So that's a spike example. Pretty cool, right? Alright, so that is using PLA. Enjoy.